Hello, welcome to another session of Learn with Veer Sagar. Today we'll talk about something which most people ignore. That is continuously reposition the company after a gap of 5, 6, 3 years depending on the industry you are in. Because today competition is not coming from a competitor. Competition can come from another industry, another technology, another geography. So you need to watch yourself for all 360 degrees. The auto industry is getting competition not from Japan or South Korea, auto companies, but from Silicon Valley, which is known as the IT hub. So today competition can come from everywhere. So we need to sit down, companies to sit down and look what is coming from where. When I was heading DCM, we had 3 such exercises in my time, and I'll talk about the second one. I think I've talked about the first one in an earlier session. We had to look around, okay, where do we go from now? Because when DCM set up the company, there was license and permit Raj. Imports were not allowed, and if they were allowed, very high duty rates. So it made sense for everyone to manufacture in-house. So DCM had set up good design capability and manufacturing capability. Then the laws changed. Suddenly it was decided that imports will be allowed. Duties were cut down. As a result, DCM lost one of its major advantages and a lot of other competitors came in. So we said, how do we position our company? When we looked inside, we found that our strength was R&D. And it would be a pity to throw that away. So we said we will become a technology-led company. And when we talk about technology-led company now, we're not talking about India anymore. We're now talking about the world because the entire market had opened up. One of the good things about IT in India was IT always competed globally because the IT people always competed with the best in the world. So we said we will compete with the best in the world. In those days, Intel used to design chips, the 286 and the 386, right, making PCs, and then they would give those designs and those links to their partners, design partners, who would then design a motherboard around it. DCM had done a 386, and when Intel announced a 486 chip around the same time as we were taking the decision of being leaders in technology, we said we will produce the world's first 486 LED Super Mini. Big, bold challenge. Now, that did a great thing. It energized the whole organization. Apart from me focusing on R&D, so the R&D had set up teams, they had war room for doing what they had to do, right? Because we are not competing with all designers anywhere in the world, right, to bring out the first. And so we need to set up a very aggressive war room to do what we are doing, but it created energy in the company. So domestic sales picked up because everybody was charged. And ultimately, we did produce the world's first 486. Initially, we wrote it with Unix, which is an operating system for a Mini, and we were able to not only produce and sell, but IBM, Intel used our motherboard in their stalls, in their IT exhibitions. And DCM was able to sell a lot of these motherboards, sell the technology. It was a great thing in those days, great feeling for India to sell technology to the US. We did that, but then again, after a couple of years, the thing changed. And the assumptions, the basis on which the entire R&D was based collapsed. Because Intel then decided that they would not allow anybody else to make the motherboard and make money. We will make the motherboard ourselves. So they came out with the strategy of Intel inside, and this motherboard designing went out of the window for other people. There was no way you could design a motherboard before Intel or as soon as Intel did, so you can't be the first anymore. But till that time, there was a couple of years, we did very well. We got a lot of reputation for quality. We created a lot of company as an innovative company, and that helped in the domestic sales. And then once this happened, we had to reposition the company. Once again, we sat down, looked around, saw what our strengths and weaknesses, and then say, how do we reposition? So this was a continuous process. Companies have to continuously look around, see where they are, see what's happening, see which way the market is going, which way the consumer is going, because the consumer profile is also changing. You'll find that the usage is changing. New things are coming in which makes usage is different. Previously, telecom was not easy. Connection was not easy. When technological change, telecom started coming in, then network started happening. So when network starts happening, then the usage is different. And then the user now is no more an IT department, but the end user is the user himself, the guy who uses the data, who is going to use it for decision making. So as a result, the user profile changed, the buyer profile changed, the entire atmosphere changed, and continuously we had to update our strategy of selling and of producing. So the lesson we learned was keep repositioning every so many years. And if you don't, you will get wiped out. One of the future sessions, I will talk about more such positioning both in TCM and in my next company, Electronics, where again we had to do 3 or 4 repositioning, but there was also an IT-based company, it was a back office. So till that time, it's Veer Sagar saying thank you very much till we see again. Bye.